this is what I love about this, because there's so many different directions this can go. And so let's stay in the parking lot for a minute, because one of the ladies, she's my volunteer coordinator at church. She's my boss. So I call her boss.
Yeah.
And she herds about 400 volunteers. So it's like herding cats. And sometimes as church people, we're hard to deal with. And it's just it's one of those things that happens. And yeah, so we had an event, and she was speaking about how crucially important the first impression people have of your church is. And so I'm going to bring this back around to what you're talking about, because the parking lot is where it all starts. So your security presence should start in your parking lot. 100% of the threats that come against your church of an armed nature have to come in through the outside at some point, unless they tunnel up through the ground,
right?
And they parachute in from an airplane. And so if you're out there, eyes and ears, and you're waving and you see things, you can interact with people. Their physical domestics can start in the parking lot, all those things. Having de-escalation training, even for your parking lot team, or just that ministry mindset, is huge. And so she pointed out one of my volunteers, and I was not there for it, unfortunately. And she said, I want to let you know, you were the very first person when I was coming to this church with my husband, and we were looking at joining the ministry team, and he sings in our worship, on our worship team and what have you. And she said, when we were looking at joining staff, I was nervous. She said, I grew up in church. I've been in church my entire life. Here I'm coming to a new church, and a guy waves at me, points and waves, and good morning. And she said, my kids went, wow, these guys are friendly. And she said, my little children picked up on this. And she said, it made me feel a lot more comfortable that if they're that friendly this far out, what is it going to be like inside? And we've had people stop us in the parking lot and say, I don't know how many times I've pulled in and you've brightened my day just by now. I'm a nut, and I might happen to dance sometimes in the parking lot when I'm directing traffic. And if I see somebody with a scowl on my face, I might. Because I'm a nut, and I understand that if you can get somebody to laugh, you can often totally improve their demeanor.